So hello everyone, my name is Pranav and I'm a legal intern in Lexis and Company. So in today's video I'm going to talk about a very important landmark case which relates to the humanitarian law. So the name of the case is Nuremberg Trials. So this case were a series of military tribunals held in Nuremberg, Germany from 1945 to 1946 to prosecute prominent Nazi officials and military personnel for their roles in World War II and the Holocaust. So now talking about the context of the case, the trials were conducted by the victorious elite powers, the United States, Soviet Union, Great Britain and France, following the end of World War II in order to hold accountable those responsible for war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide. So now talking about the defendants, the trials targeted high-ranking Nazi officials, military commanders and individuals involved in the planning and execution of Nazi policies, including Hermann Göring, Mr. Hess, John Schimm and Albert Speer. So now talking about the charges which were implemented in this case, the defendants faced challenges such as crimes against peace, which included planning and waging aggressive war. The second was war crimes, which included violations of the laws and customs of law. The crimes against humanity, which was under the ambit of systematic prosecution, extermination and oppression of the civilian populations. So the legal principles that were used in the Nuremberg trials established the principle of individual criminal responsibility, affirming that individuals could be held accountable for their actions, even if they were acting on behalf of the state. So now talking about the Charter of the International Military Tribunal, the tribunals were conducted based upon the Charter of the International Military Tribunal, which outlined the procedures, jurisdictions and the principles of the trials. The Charter defines the crimes and provided guidelines for the prosecution and defense. The prosecution presented extensive evidence, including documents, testimonies and films to establish the guilt of the defendants. The prosecutors aimed to prove that the defendants were aware of and participated in the Nazi regime activities. The defendants were provided with legal representations and were allowed to present their case. Some defendants denied personal responsibility or claimed to have been following orders. The trials resulted in verdicts ranging from acquittals to death sentences. 12 defendants were sentenced to death, while others received prison terms for they both were acquitted. The Nuremberg trials played a pivotal role in the development of international criminal law and the establishment of the principle of the individual crime responsibility. They set important precedents for subsequent trials related to war crimes and crimes against humanity. The trials brought global attention to the aristocracies committed by the Nazis during World War II and helped establish the frame for holding individuals accountable for the similar crimes in future. So now talking about the follow-up trials, in addition to the International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg, subsequently trials were held by the United States, Great Britain and other countries to prosecute additional Nazi officials and collaborators. The trials produced for an extensive body of evidence and documentation, including the Nuremberg trial proceedings and the Nuremberg Military Tribunal's collection, which have been invaluable resources for understanding the Holocaust and the Nazi crimes. The Nuremberg trials marked a significant turning point in the history of international law, promoting accountability and justice for war crimes and crimes against humanity committed during times of the conflict. So thank you so much guys. Now I'm just going to wind up this video, and if you guys have any doubt regarding this case, so you can just ping me in the comment box and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you so much and have a nice day.